Hey folks, it's Rob from Rob's Movie Collection, and I have a little question for the community, and it's a tag, so you can all answer if you want in the comments or make your own video. It's probably been asked before, I assume, but I haven't asked it, so I've only been here for a couple months. But a lot of people in the past have asked questions about, why we like movies and why we watch movies and that sort of thing. My question is this. Of course, we all love movies. We wouldn't have these channels if we didn't love movies, and we all love a variety of movies, but most people seem to have a certain genre that they like the most. One that their collection has a little more of, the biggest part of your collection. I've seen a lot of channels on here who seem to specify more the horror genre, that's what they focus on the most. That doesn't mean that they don't like other types of movies as well, because you see it in their haul videos and the things they talk about, but their whole channel seems to be more directed towards horror and that sort of thing, so you can tell that that's their favorite genre. So I was just wondering, what is the biggest part of your collection? What genre is the one that's the biggest and the one that you seem to focus on the most, because maybe it's the one that you like the most? And the answer for me is, and I've mentioned this before, is science fiction fantasy. It's science fiction / fantasy. That category is always kind of encompassed two things there. Maybe that's why I like it, I don't know. But I've always been mostly into that genre, even though I like all types of movies, but that's usually been my main genre ever since I was a kid. It's the section of my collection that is the biggest. That's the one I have the most movies of, and TV shows as well. It's always been a part of my life. I don't think it was a conscious decision. I just always liked it. I liked the fantasy aspect of it. I liked to kind of dream of other worlds and, go into Middle Earth and galaxies far, far away and that sort of thing. And that includes superhero stuff as well. I've always been into comics. Not as much now, and mostly because I just don't like in the direction in which they've written things and gone these days. But I've just always liked that genre ever since I was a kid. I always enjoyed it. I grew up mostly in the 70s and 80s, and maybe that had something to do with it. I was like 11 or so when Star Wars came out, and even before then I was into science fiction and fantasy, but my childhood was made by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. I mean, that's the times when they were doing the most of those types of movies, and for me it was just heaven. There always seemed to be something to see, and not just them, but they would influence other people to do their things as well. So maybe that's why I'm such a defender of George Lucas, because I think it's unfair the way everyone's piled up on him because of some mistakes that he made with a couple movies. I just always loved that genre, and for me that's like the soundtrack to my childhood, and soundtracks as well. Most of the soundtracks that I have, because I'm a big movie soundtrack guy, are from, easily I have the John Williams is the most I have, so that's all part of it. But it's not just movies as well, it's books as well. I always collected the sci-fi, mostly fantasy genre in the book area. Of course, my first one was Lord of the Rings, and then Dune, and just all sorts of different books that I just used to gobble up like I was starving back in those days. If anything, I wish I had more time now to read, because there are still so many from those days that I haven't even been able to read yet. So it's just always been a part of me. Even when I was studying to be a filmmaker, that's the type of movies that I wanted to make. And the different jobs that I considered in the film industry, I definitely that's why I'm into special effects as well, because that's the type of movies that I like, and I wanted to work in special effects, and I did little stop motion animations. It's all related to the sci-fi fantasy genre. Anyway, that's easily my favorite. I've tried to put a little variety when I've been doing these videos. It's in a way I've had to resist the urge, because all I want to do is really kind of like, I mostly want to do sci-fi and fantasy movies because I have so many of them. But I've tried to kind of put a little variety in there, so it won't be just that. But that is definitely, without a doubt, my favorite genre and the one that I have the most movies of. So, what is your favorite, if you have a favorite, and if you have like the biggest section in your movie collection? What is that? Answer in the comments. Definitely welcome, or make your own video. That's also cool. Okay, so this is just a little short one, so I will see you guys next time, and keep watching movies as always. Alright, bye.